And here we are today. I'm here with Barbara Gilman. Once again, I have met her many times through Skype audio interviews, but today we are here on video for the first time. And it's interesting because I feel like I have met you before anyway.
Yes.
It's how
Here we
interesting,
have.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost that energy bypasses the physical body or form.
Absolutely.
So most of these conversations are about feelings, emotions, and freedom. I call the freedom to feel.
Mhm.
But today we'll go probably all over the place and play around excess consciousness and everything
Right,
else in between.
right.
So Barbara Gilman is the founder of the Quick Change Artist and
Mhm.
Wild Women Choosing, certified access consciousness facilitator, therapist, coach, and also the author of Whatever That FUCK It Takes.
Yeah.
Never give in, never give up, never quit.
Yes.
Access consciousness tools for being the most powerful, inconceivable, and magical you can be. So we have had lots of conversations about access consciousness, and it always it feels fresh every time and new. Like meeting you today, the energy comes back of you being this free energy, free flowing kind of form and doing what you're doing, being life itself. But
Yes.
that's my impression. But from your own perspective, Barbara, talk to me about how you have become the amazing woman that you have become. And also, what is access consciousness?
Okay. Well, thank you for that, my dear. Coming from you, that is a wonderful compliment. Um, I guess, anyone who follows this path, you, me, it
Yeah,
doesn't, sort of matter what the name of it is,
right.
although I'm going to tell you about
Yeah.
actually. Um,
Yes.
It's just the choice, it's the choice of choosing consciousness, which clearly not everyone on the planet does.
Right.
And so whatever you could say, you could read different books, and one is going to tell you it's a high frequency, and one is going to tell you that you're more this, you've been around more times. It doesn't really matter. But
Right.
in this lifetime, I came in as a very strange being. Um, and the wonderful thing is, and parents, listen to this part.
Mm,
I came into, well, two wonderful parents, but usually the mother is the one who takes a little bit more.
yeah.
And I was strange. I skipped 3 years in school, so already I was with older children. However, then I added on some years.
Yeah.
So when I was 15, I had girlfriends who were 20 something. When I went out with men, they were at least 15 years older or 13 years or whatever. And it was simply because I couldn't have a dialogue
Right.
with the younger people.
Right.
So again, we come in who we come in to be. And from the very beginning, I was interested in, if you mention a modality, and I can't
Mhm.
even
Yeah.
remember all of them. It started with the Jose Silva Mind course, and it went
Right.
to, I mean, every course that ever came along, Reiki and da 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 da.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't even remember how
Yeah.
many. And then about 10 years ago, I found Access Consciousness. And for me, it is the most life-changing system on the
Right.
planet. Absolutely. And it's all very playful, like, we're all
Right.
children there,
Yeah. I love that.
and, just wonderful. It's taught now in over 200 countries, I believe, and as for me, I wouldn't even look at other things anymore because
Yeah.
that's it. It's like, when you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I do, and it is, if people are choosing, let's face it, if
Yeah.
someone's not choosing, you could offer them $1,000,000 and somehow they're gonna refuse it.
That's true.
So, if someone is
Mm.
choosing,
Mhm.
you just find your way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is it's a very powerful message, the one that we call choosing. And it's interesting that for me it has been a bit different. Perhaps because I believe that I'm life itself, that I have no
Mhm,
choice in life. It's doing what it does, kind of
mhm.
navigating this reality in this body with this mind, conditioned mind and body, doing what it's supposed to be doing. But it feels like we are choosing. It really does. That's interesting. Like meeting you, choosing to be here today. It feels like it's a choice, but I wonder if that's just a feeling, Barbara.
Well, what I would say, and I'm sure, it's like saying if your friend says, "Oh, would you like to have dinner tonight? Do you
Yeah,
wanna go to Chinese, Indian, Italian,
yeah,
whatever?" They're all choices,
yeah,
but
yeah.
there's something within us that clearly, if we're really choosing for us and not against us, we're
Mm.
gonna go to the one that would create
Ah,
the most consciousness for
ah,
us, okay? Or if they're not in the world of consciousness, it doesn't matter. It'll make the one
right,
that would be making them the happiest in their life.
right.
Everything is a choice.
Ah,
Everything out there.
mm, mm. You know, when you say it that way, it really makes sense to me. And I have read your book many times. I have done some of the work, follow some of the practices and the techniques there. And it makes sense because it feels like when we are open to life, then we are able to see the options we have more clearly. And then we follow the one, as you said, that has give us access to consciousness and happiness and the ones that won't. But with that in
Yes.
mind, you actually separate consciousness from happiness. What is consciousness, Bob?
To
You know?
explain consciousness is not easy, but the thing
Right, right.
is out there, some people first of all, I don't wanna make it a lot I mean, at this point on the planet, there's still
Yeah.
a lot of people that wouldn't know what consciousness in how we're talking about it. They would say, "Oh, if
Yeah.
you're alive, you're conscious." You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Otherwise, you're
Yeah.
dead
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
coma. So
Right.
the consciousness we're talking about is different,
Right.
okay? It's like and to tell you the truth, now that I'm even thinking about it, it's all I could say, the easiest way, the baby way, I like to,
Yeah, yeah, I like
I
that
told
too.
you
Simple.
I play with a lot of children. It's what is going to allow us to create, let's say, the
Mm,
highest possibility for us in this lifetime,
mm,
okay? It's like expanding out.
right.
Now, not everyone is going to do what you and I do in this world. Some people are going to be doctors. Some people are going to be garbage can collectors. It doesn't matter because we started here and we're just changing at in
Mm,
uh, every time we come around.
right.
So it's not good or bad, and it's not better.
Mm,
It's just this is where we are right now.
right.
And for me, I
Mm,
love fun. As I say,
yeah.
I'm really a 5-year-old,
Yeah,
and I
that's
like quick.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so because of that energy, it pulled me 10 years ago, maybe even 11
Yeah.
now, right to access consciousness. And as I said, I can't even tell you, or I don't even remember all the names of everything that I took over the 10 years.
Yeah.
But this is a joy. This is laughing.
Mm,
This is for me, it is just everything, and it's baby stuff. There are
right.
children, I think, like 8 years old or 9 years old who can come, to certain of the beginning classes, and they get it. That's the amazing thing. So it's simple, it's easy, and it's magic.
Mm.
When I do a couple of the, processing, uh,
Yeah.
you'll see.
Ah, magic. I love that word.
Yes, so do I.
Ma
I actually had a dog whose name was Magic.
Oh, really? Yeah, I love that. When I hear the word magic, I think about what comes to mind is it's fun, yeah, but it's not something that we can see. It feels really good, but it's not something that seems to be touchable.
Right.
Almost, it's interesting because it's almost maybe I think about the mind automatically goes to ancient times on women when they used to be witches,
Mhm,
and they
mhm.
explored a lot their own intuition and their own energies. They are not afraid of of seeing and feeling their own inner world.
Right,
And that's what I feel when I see you too, when we are in touch. There's something about that's very deep, and it's very ancient. There's wisdom. So it's not something new, really, my Barbara.
right, and, just like you do what you do, okay?
Yeah. Yep.
We've been doing it. It's been us for many lifetimes. So,
Mm,
you come back when you come back, and, clearly, I don't know, if it's like from this to this to this, or
yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
around,
Right.
and it doesn't
Yeah.
make it doesn't make a difference,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
clearly, this is a path that I love, because
Yeah.
I love having people, and it doesn't have to be with this work, it could be anything. I love to
Right.
assist people.
Yeah.
If I'm walking in the supermarket and I see a woman who has groceries that she can't, I run to help her push the
Yeah.
cart. That's and my mother was the same way. So that's who I
Wow.
am. So doing
Mm.
this work, which is really play, is my greatest joy, other than
Yeah.
my daughter.
Ah, of course.
But I watch people, and the thing about this work is people can change in minutes.
Mm.
So I do a lot
Yeah.
of telephone consultations,
Yes.
especially since COVID.
Right.
And I live between Manhattan and upstate New York. And as soon as COVID started, very luckily, my lease was up, and
Good.
otherwise it would have been.
Right.
And,
Right.
so then I've been up here since then, but I haven't worked other than my telephone consultations, because
Right.
it gets recorded, and the energy and the processing, which we'll get into, which is the way that they're going to let go of the energy, they
Mm.
just play it, and they keep. So it's like having the session over and over. And each
Right.
time they do it, a little bit more of the energy that's keeping them stuck in whatever part of their life, it just goes, goes, goes. So if
Wow.
not in the same day, by the end of the week, they have changed whatever they wanted to change, unless they really don't wanna change, which of course
Right.
is, but I have to tell you, I don't think I've ever had anyone like that.
That was not open to change.
Yes.
Before we go through the process, I would love to hear more, although I have gone through the process myself. And what happened to me was by doing the work, so many changes started to happen
Mhm.
that it became overwhelming at some point. And it's interesting how I stopped even because it was too much to deal with at
Okay.
that
So
moment.
what when you say too much to deal with, what is the too much? Too much change?
Yeah, too many chains, one after another, in myself within and also my external world. Things, my husband and my mother-in-law moved in,
Oh,
and
I
then
yes,
everything's the energies changed, and I'm like, oh my god! And I was contacting you by email, even
yes.
just because I was becoming more open to all those changes. But at the same time, it seemed like at that point was enough, and then I stopped from. I paused per se.
I'm getting a picture of the guy who's juggling.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So as he's
Yes.
learning, he starts
Yeah.
to do things, and he goes to
Yeah.
3, 4, and I guess
Yeah.
clearly at one point, you're
Yeah.
on this path, as we all are, um, at one point, it's having 10 is just a little bit too much now, they're gonna
Yeah.
go back to
Yeah. Yeah.
9.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah. Right.
What
So,
the thing that's wonderful is the
uh,
gift that you choose. Even if it's a little slower, take one
right.
off the shelf, but you're not gonna stop. I know your energy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop,
Right.
because my getting more and more conscious is my number one thing. That's it.
Yeah. Oh my God, Barbara. And I wonder what is because we don't want to be in a sense living to get somewhere as a destination, like
Mhm.
always becoming more and more and more conscious, which is sounds very wonderful to me. And I would love to understand more what would that look like. Do you
Mhm.
have a vision of what
Well,
is like to
yeah.
be?
Well, yes, but as I said before, I'm a
Yeah.
5-year-old. Playing
Ah,
is
right.
my favorite thing.
Right.
It's I'm not believe me, I'm the last person I told you, I was raised as a Jewish princess.
Yeah.
They're not great workers, and
Ah,
workers meaning things you don't kinda love.
right.
This for
Right.
me is playing,
Mm.
just like with my
Yeah.
granddaughter, um, just
Yeah.
play the whole day while the adults are over there doing what they want, and I'm in, like, heaven. Having access for me is I'm the 5-year-old, and I'm playing with these people, and I love people,
Yeah.
okay? I get even those people who I wouldn't wanna be with, but I
Yeah.
understand the pain or the whatever they've gone through, but they haven't gone through this part yet, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
love in me,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
when you work with people who are choosing this, there's
Mm.
no difference than me playing with my granddaughter.
Right.
It's play.
Right.
I get to not only watch them, but, again, when I work with them, even on my, telephone sessions with people, I
Yeah.
get the energy changing. I don't see them, but it would be like looking at you when you got up in the morning, looking like we do, and
Yeah.
then seeing you over an hour, do your hair, do your makeup, put on the beautiful dress. I get to feel it and
Mm.
know it. Then, of course, they send their texts and, "Oh my god, this," whatever. But for me, the greatest part is just sensing that changing. It's almost as if I could see it.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
an artist, which I
Yeah.
also was, an architectural designer and interior in the when I was young, watching that house become
Yeah.
big,
Right.
and then all the furniture going in, and then all the artwork. To me, that's such a joy, and that's exactly what I do with people.
Ah. Yeah, that it's transforming, isn't it? The way we see
Absolutely,
life, which
and
huh.
joyful. Don't
Mm.
forget joyful.
Yeah, joy seems to be the key,
Yes.
right, Barbara? Once we get there to that state of joy throughout the day, we find more of that. Then that's a good destination for consciousness. That
Yes.
sounds to me like a wonderful destination, if there is one.
Let me just add one thing, because 'cause you're
Yeah,
saying all through the day. Maybe you didn't say all, but we also have to know that in life, things happen,
yeah, yeah,
and that's the other side of the coin,
right.
because with this work, and that's what I was talking about, those what we call processes, when you get into that part, that all of a sudden you wanna jump out the window or something happens or, whatever, the tools are there. I mean, God knows
Mm,
how many tools we have, but I'm gonna tell you about 1 or 2. But when you start to use those tools, you're like the magician on stage,
yeah.
and
Mm,
immediately, okay, let's say this is how big the person's problem is.
yeah.
Immediately, it starts to go like this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I felt this way exactly, and but it was too many. Huh, it still is. It's interesting. Energy. It goes back to energy. You mentioned before about so many things could happen, and they all vibrate differently. Whatever it's happening in our lives. Like now, I have my mother-in-law and living with us, and that
Mhm.
changed the entire environment. And I have been
Absolutely.
doing. Yeah, isn't it interesting? And I have been trying to do work, energetic work, to bring her in a sense of the energies that was already here and
Mhm.
welcome that energy too, which is it's wonderful to see that we have this choosing, as you call it, this ability, this power to merge energies, to let them be, live side by side, and that's okay.
But what you were saying when you have someone come, okay, what was that part? There was like a part that you seem to wanna say something, like something occurs. They come, something occurs, and
Mm.
then what?
Yeah. So the energies, in the sense of the change, isn't we resist to change almost like automatically. I see that
Yes.
in me. There's such a strong urge to push it away. Anything that's different, anything that hasn't been there or is not recognized.
Yes.
So I guess what I was trying, what happened to me is that was I was trying to accept the change as it was happening, all those energies, and at the same time being aware of resistance and seeing if I could balance those two, resistance and acceptance, being open and being closed at the same time. It's
Okay.
a paradox, but it's
Okay.
that
Okay.
way.
So I wasn't going to do it here, but right now,
Yeah, yeah,
this is it. Okay.
yeah,
So one of the great, well, a very big way of changing in access is, of course, it's energy. We're
yeah,
using energy. So
yeah.
every word I'm going to speak is an energetic kind of thing, right?
Right.
This is how simple it is. Whenever anything occurs, just like you were saying, all you have to do is ask a question
Mm,
about what you're talking about. So let me show you.
right.
So, okay, so you're telling me that a lot of what stress and what is going
Mm,
on that you
yeah.
don't
Fear. Right.
fear and you don't know what to do in the situation.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would simply say to you, and I could make up 20 of them with the same energy, but different words.
Right.
So, what would it take for you
Mm.
to acknowledge that the energy that you're feeling right now is like Santa coming down your
Mhm.
chimney?
Mhm. Yes.
There's something new and wonderful that's coming into
Mm,
your life. But
mm,
you know how we are because we might not know what it is because of the insane world we live in, and now it's
right.
more insane than it's ever been. We
Right.
can get a little bit out off course, so it becomes maybe a little fearful,
Right.
okay?
Right.
Okay, so all you would do is say,
Mm, mm,
"So everywhere I'm feeling this, whatever it is, fear or confusion or whatever about what's happening now in my life." That's the question.
yeah.
Then you say what we call the processing statement, and that's energy. You might even be able to feel it, but that's what creates the change. It's a magic wand. That's all. Just a
Right.
magic
Right.
wand.
Right.
Okay. So
Yeah.
everywhere you're feeling that, ugh, that icky,
Yeah. Yeah. That tightness, that
yes.
resistance.
Would
Right.
you now be willing to destroy and uncreate it all?
Mm,
That's it. One simple sentence.
mm.
Now you say yes.
Yes. Yes.
And then I say what's called a clearing statement. This is the energetic magic. They're not just words, it's an energetic something
Mm, yeah.
or other that works. Okay.
Yeah.
So you said yes, and I'm going to say, so everything that is, will you now destroy and uncreate? Say yes.
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine, shorts, boys, povids, and beyonds. Okay, now I could feel the energy. Did you feel like an energy just going through your body? Oof.
I felt it before, not now, but as you were talking before, I had goosebumps. So it
Okay,
seemed like
now
it was anticipated.
I got it very strongly, which means that you released a good amount of that
Yeah.
energy. So
Yeah.
let's do one more and see when
Yeah.
after I say the right, wrong, good, bad, see if you can feel that energy just
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what would it take for you to allow the universe to give you a gift that could change anything that's not working in your life right now? So, anything that doesn't allow it, will you destroy and uncreate it now?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, poc, all nine, shorts, boys, povids, and beyonds. Again, okay.
Yeah.
And that means you're releasing a lot.
Yeah, I felt it now. Yeah.
Okay.
Even my eyes were closed and I felt, yeah, they were rapidly like moving in different directions, which I have
Yeah.
felt it before. It's
And
the,
some tingling of the energy,
yeah.
maybe.
Yes.
Everyone receives it differently, but
Right.
that's called processing. And so all one has to do, whatever's going on in their life, okay? So like as I said, I do recorded calls for people
Yeah.
all over the world, actually, and they
Yeah.
just sit on the phone and they'll just say, "Barbara, okay, this is going on, this is going on," and I do that. Then after I do that, I might ask a question that would go to the next level of what they're talking about, or they might. And so it's that processing that goes on for usually an hour. It's recorded, and then I send it to them, and I tell them to listen 3 times a day. Well, they'll do what they do.
Yeah, yeah.
Usually, by the end of just us talking, they've changed, and if they really do it the way they're doing it, somewhere in the middle of the week, the whole thing is gone. It's
Wow.
just gone.
Yeah. It is. It really, really, really works. I tried, and as I said earlier, it was almost overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by so many changes, the open up of those energies and
Yes,
the receiving of that. And
yes.
then now I stopped and have been doing. I do a lot of energy work. I'm always listening and feeling those feelings, and I wonder if it yeah, it's something that you just said. It doesn't really stop because it's something that's continuous, right, Barbara? There's always something happening in our lives. So we
Oh,
always need,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, it's like saying, do you want to stay in kindergarten for the rest of
yeah,
your life? And
yeah,
everything, everything is a growth period. Like, for instance,
right,
COVID,
yeah,
so I had an apartment in Manhattan, and then my partner and I have a house up in the Adirondack Mountains at the very top. It's quite amazing.
yeah,
Um, and I'm a Gemini.
yeah.
Well, you can't keep a Gemini in the house.
Oh no,
So
trouble.
yes, it was, and in the winter, you don't really I'm not a skier or anything.
Yes, we
So
don't.
my point is I just make my own tape, record it,
Yeah,
okay, and just play it, and I could just feel "Okay, I could do this, I have another book, I have a movie, I have a whatever."
yeah,
We
huh?
we all have our stuff, but this for me, and as I said, I did everything since the time I was maybe 20, everything that ever came along, and for me, there's nothing like this because beside the fact that it works, it's playful and funny,
Right,
and
right,
there's
right.
really nothing like it.
It's creative. It seems like it opens up that creative flow, creative energy in us. Because I feel that even the questions, when I receive emails from you and I see the question, what else is possible?
Yep.
That it's already kind of the mind goes elsewhere. It's or perhaps the opposite. It just comes and sits in this moment and stay quiet and just kind of rejoice into what is here now in a very powerful way. That
Yes.
question is very powerful. I mean,
It
there's
is.
so
Well,
many.
that's believe it or not, that questioning is what do you first do when you build a house? The
Foundation of a
Yes,
house,
thank you. Oh, for
right?
God's Yes, it's the foundation of it is magic.
Yeah.
It really
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
magic.
I love to hear that. It's fun. You know the like listening to you, especially when you say certain words, like it triggers, yeah, joy. Like something happens, and it's really wonderful, Barbara. What a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's the presence of life itself, of the essence of life, which is creative force.
Yes,
Huh.
and with that, one has to be willing to leave their space and
Mm,
change.
yeah.
And it's interesting, but so many people are afraid of change.
Yes. Yeah. True.
You
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
it's like when
Yeah.
it's funny, I watched a very cute movie last night, and the little child was going into diapers, and he was refusing, and the older child said, "Why do you want to stay in diapers? That's a baby, you can't be a big boy." That's it. It's like one was willing to change so they get to the next possibility.
Right.
There are
Right.
people who are
Right.
stuck, and that's not a wrongness because you know what? If we
Yeah.
go back X amount of lifetimes, we were there, we were them.
Yeah. Uh,
It's just the progression.
right. Oh gosh. And then there's a section in your book that you talk specifically about judgment and right and wrong. That's another. I mean, your book is amazing. I keep reading it. I go back to it, and I open to a, sometimes I have marks, and then I open on a page, whatever page that opens at, and I just read it, and as is as powerful as any other pages. It's
Well, it's
incredible.
funny that I had. Oh, here it is.
Yeah,
So
I
here,
have a,
here it is.
yes, right, right. Yeah, I'm glad to have. I have it behind me in
Yes,
here.
I can't say the name. I don't know. I don't know where I could say it and where I can't.
Yeah, so this is the book. I'll have a link on your podcast, on the video interview profile too. But so for the phone conversations, Barbara, is that something that what's the best way to schedule those sessions with you? Online? Do
Um,
we call you? Uh,
yeah, you could call me. Well, on my website, which is
yeah.
simply barbragilman.com, and Barbara spelled like Streisand, but unfortunately, I don't sing like her.
Yeah, I love
So
that
it's
too. Yeah,
Barbra, Gilman with
yeah.
one L. Okay. So barbragilman.com, and, all my information is there. And my, email is barbara@barbragilman.com.
Ah, wonderful. So there are those two ways of contacting you. So the
Yes.
website and the email. I'll have
Yes.
both of them on the video interview profile too in the
Yes,
written
and
form.
it's absolutely magical, and the good news is it's not like when you went, and I'm pleased this is not to be negative about anything. I'm just saying
Yeah,
this is what I do, and
yeah,
because it's recorded, they're paying for one session,
right,
but I'm asking them in the beginning to listen 3 times a day, even if it's subliminal,
right.
even if you wanna watch television, just put it on. I mean,
Yeah.
anything, but again, it's energy.
Mm,
So
mm,
every little speck that you're willing to let go of, it's just
mm,
gonna go.
right.
And so then again, by the end of the week, that whatever you called about is done. But
Ah,
don't forget we're human beings on planet Earth, so you'll go so far, and
yeah,
then when you get to the next level, all
ah,
of a sudden, and it's not that it's a badness, like, "Oh, I have a problem." It's
right.
like, "Oh, now that I went from living, in my car to an apartment,
Yeah,
like, I don't know how to work all the things in this apartment because they're very modern." So then
right,
you have to learn that. And
right.
then after a few
Mm,
years, you've made more money, and now you're going to live in the penthouse. Well, you have so
yeah.
it's a question, it's not good or bad. There's no good or bad. It's where you
Mm.
are now and
And
where do you wanna go.
right. How willing we are to be open, right, Barbara, to learn and to take those chances. Um,
Yes.
it's very empowering the way your story and the way you communicate the message, because it feels like it takes courage, but it's beyond courage. It feels to me, it seems to me that is commitment. It's work. It's practice, isn't it?
Yes, and I think the most important thing is, as you know, I think we come in to be who we can be. Doesn't mean we
Mm,
will be,
mm,
but
mm.
we have that possibility.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
if you
yeah,
just keep going towards that possibility and,
yeah.
you know, I grew
Hmm.
up, as I said, as a Jewish princess. I had everything anyone could imagine. However, after that, my first divorce, which was not a good thing, um, I'm not even gonna go there. But anyway,
Yeah.
we have these kinds of things in life. And so I ended up with no money. He was whatever. My
Right.
attorney ended up having a divorce himself, so he was terrible. He was like one of the best in New York, and he was having like a nervous so my point is
Yeah.
things happen,
Yeah.
and that it doesn't I like if someone said to me, "Oh, Barbara, I'd like to work with you, with Access Consciousness. Are you gonna tell me that every day, in every week, in every month is gonna be perfectly good?" Now,
Right.
how in the world could I possibly say that?
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
I will say that no matter what happens, you're gonna have the tools. You see, we're
Mm.
not here just to have fun, even though that
Mm.
would be nice. We're
Yeah.
here to grow past what we were before, so we keep growing.
Right.
I mean, we were, who knows,
Yeah.
what we were at one point, 100,000, whatever years ago, but now we're
Yeah.
here. And like you were saying, some people are not going
Time.
to be into this because they're not ready.
Right.
In X amount of more lifetimes, he probably will.
Wow. Huh. Lifetimes. I have a question that came to mind was you talk about possibilities and potential. Like we have certain potentials. Is that something that we come with certain potentials for this lifetime specifically? And then we tapped that, and then that's it for this one. We have to wait until the next to explore that
I
again.
I cannot answer that question. I will tell you that I believe that people who want to move,
Yeah.
okay, and are willing to do whatever the
Yeah.
universe will do,
Yes. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
will change,
Yeah.
okay? Um, it's just a question of how much you want it, and what are you willing to, and sometimes you don't have to give anything up because sometimes you get 100,000 times more.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
depends who you are.
Right.
So it's
Ah,
just what I think what the soul in this lifetime is choosing for us. And for you and me and anyone who is going to watch this, why would they be watching it,
right.
right?
Yeah,
So
right. It's a
it's for
calling. Yeah.
them. And
Yeah.
they might take a cup, they might take a pint, they might take a gallon,
Yeah.
whatever.
I love the process because of access consciousness because it's fun and it always inspires me to
Yes,
I
yes.
smile or like some that sprinkle of joy just comes in. It's amazing. So it's something that really feels true to the heart.
Absolutely is. And the main thing is never to get into judgment.
Yes.
'Cause
Oh yeah, that's big one. Yeah.
judgment is a killer.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
you always want
Yeah.
to be in action.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in reaction, okay?
Right.
Because then you're going backwards.
Right.
And so in a case
Mm.
like that, all you have to do is put out to the universe, what else is possible?
Yeah.
That's it.
I love
We
that.
are communing with the universe, and believe me, you get answers. So
Yeah.
what else is possible? What can I do and be to change this?
Right.
Okay. I have lists and lists and lists of things, all these are all the tools. I have, 10 years of tools and
Yeah.
they're
Wow.
magic. I mean, when I say magic, I really mean magic. You could
Yeah.
say one sentence and all of a sudden, especially if you feel energy, you can feel that
Mm.
stuck, okay, so what
Yeah.
else is possible here? What would it take for me to have joy
Mm.
as you're
Yeah.
crying and you're depressed, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden, it might not be now, it might be in 10 minutes, or you can literally feel the joy start to come in, and the depression or the
Mm.
sadness or the anger just starts to leave.
Right.
And when you learn this work, what's called the processes is simply a question.
Right.
You could make up any question that, it's like when people say, "What would you say if you were talking to God?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would she
Mm.
say, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, whatever, even if they don't know anything more than they're hearing now, and then all of a sudden today they're driving home and they get a tire blowout. Okay.
Yeah.
All you have to do is, like, if you really believe that there's something there, okay, then all you do is ask the question like you would ask to this. So you're just basically saying, to what would
Mm.
it take for me to allow? Okay, because if you're used to being, always having wrong things, you're so used to it, you're on that path.
Right.
So
Right.
what would it take for me to allow this flat tire to be changed quickly and easily? Okay?
Mm.
I mean, that's what someone would say if a genie came, right? So all you
Yeah.
have to think is
Yeah.
if you had a genie in front of you, what would you ask? You just ask that.
Yeah.
What would it take? And then you just add the caveat is what's called the clearing statement, which is
Yeah.
the everything that is, I destroy and uncreate. right, wrong, good, bad, pop, pock, all night, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then when you put that, that's the magic. You
Yeah.
could feel,
Mm,
some people will actually feel it's
yeah.
like something was a rock, and now the rock is energetic, the rock, it's breaking up, and you could feel it getting lighter and lighter. And
Right.
so what I do is I put it on a loop on my phone.
Uh,
Sometimes when I go to sleep, I just put that loop of whatever I'm working on, and by
yeah.
the time I get up or even before, whatever that situation was is gone,
Wow.
gone.
That's something I didn't do. That might be a good idea, right? To
Yes,
listen to it as
yes.
you go to sleep.
There are all kinds of people in the world. I have a friend who's one of the top healers in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, he works with movie stars, governors, whatever, cancer, dying in a month. They're alive now.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything is possible if we allow ourselves
Mm,
to be open, where everyone is saying, "Oh,
mm,
you pay
mm,
money, he's my they
mm,
she must be a charlotte." You have to go by
yeah.
your own knowing.
Mm,
So here's another little thing. All you have to do is say, if I choose this, what would my life be like
mm,
in, let's say, 100 years?
yeah.
I choose this, what would my life be like in
Mm,
100 years? Okay. Anything you want, just somewhere over there. As soon as you say that, then you do everything that is, and then again, the clearing statement, right, wrong, good, bad, da.
yeah.
That's it. When you ask that question, it's immediate. If you're willing to receive, it's immediate. The
Uh,
universe gets to work.
mm,
And if
mm,
either it'll be in 10 minutes, it'll be tonight, it'll be tomorrow if you're slower. Some people
yeah. Yeah.
get a little nervous if things that are good happen too fast. I know it sounds
Yeah.
crazy, but it's true.
It is true. Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
one client, she's been working with me for over 5 years. Whenever we have a session, as I said, it's recorded, so she keeps listening and listening. Nothing will ever happen until at least, I would say, a week to 10 days.
Yeah.
After the 10 days, she calls me, and not only that, but everything has
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yes, yes,
So being will, we have to be open. It's all that allowing ourselves to receive whatever is being
absolutely.
asked.
Yes,
It's a conversation with the universe, isn't it?
it
I
is,
mean,
absolutely.
and also comes to me as love. I feel that the
Oh,
energy of love.
it's all love.
Yeah.
It's all love.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Barbara. It's all love. I agree. A billion times with that. And I just keep wishing and doing this work on myself and passing this on and kind of wishing, not hoping that more human beings will wake up to this truth that life is love, that we are love, and this is it. It's beautiful. It's here now. It just
Yes,
needs to be
and
open to it.
yes, and the new children, they're the ones
Mm.
that are going to just, you know,
Ah,
especially at
yeah,
this time on the planet. I mean,
yeah,
I call it an insane asylum.
yeah.
Um, on
Right.
one hand, it's like, "Oh my god," but on the other hand, I don't know what it is underneath that's, whatever,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm just choosing to know that's
uh,
something somewhere at some time will
yeah,
change something, whatever it is, I don't know, but change something so at least we
right.
could look back or our children could look back and say, "Oh, I remember my mother told me about such and such, but you know what? The world was like crazy then, but now it's really great."
So much better. It feels like, it seems like it's changing. A shift has been taking place. It feels that way, Barbara. And you
Well,
don't feel that
it's
yet?
well,
Not yet?
see, I don't, I don't want maybe I shouldn't say what I'm gonna say, I don't know. But
Ah,
anyway,
sweet.
uh, whatever this thing is,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
However it got here, let's say
Mm,
it's here. Some people think this is what happened, and other people think this. Okay,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But uh, today, someone said to me that now there's a new strain or a new thing that's, and all I could say is just do the work.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
would it take for me
Mm,
to have every cell and everything in my body to be totally healthy and filled with love?
mm,
And anything that
mm.
doesn't allow it, I destroy and uncreate pot pock. Because nothing happens at
Yeah.
one level unless you allow it to happen. And
Right.
that's not making people wrong, because don't
Mm,
forget, we're gonna come back, we start here, we go there, and
yeah.
so it's all good. It's all
Yes.
it's all good.
I love that. Yeah, that's it's powerful to hear that too. It's freeing. It's liberating in a
Yeah,
way. Whatever is being liberated.
right.
Thank you so much, Barbara, for your
You're very
presence in
welcome,
this
and
reality.
thank
Wow.
you
Wow.
for what you do, because all of the people who are out there in the world who are choosing to be a difference and have the world change, what would we do without people like you?
Like
Yeah, yeah,
you and like you, and so many of these yous, right?
yes,
The
you
beautiful,
can't. I'm
amazing
just
people.
thinking, my friend came over and asked about tennis. Anyway, you can't play tennis unless you have a ball. There has to be
Yeah,
those 2 things. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. Thank you so much again. And before we end the conversation, let me ask you 2 questions.
Okay.
One is, what is one, if there is, I know you have been delivering so many powerful messages and they sound very simple and it takes practice, of course. But if there is one message that you wish everyone watching this to take with them, what would that be? One message, one practice, one tool, one thing only. What would that be?
Okay, this is their daily, every hour, on the hour. What would it take for me to be love?
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, I
Okay,
love
because
that.
is a person who is love
Yeah.
does love. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Oh, I love that. What a beautiful. You almost made me cry now. Yeah. Yeah. That's really beautiful. Yes.
And that only tells
That,
me and
that's,
everyone else who is listening or video or
yeah.
whatever they're doing, that that is who you are. Because you wouldn't be crying. You wouldn't even, a person who doesn't even get it would just sit there thinking that, "Oh, what a crazy thing for her to say," you know? So you are love, my dear. I mean, I know
Mm,
that, but I'm just saying for everyone else, the fact that you are where you are now, that's
yeah.
it. You are love.
Wow. That's such a, I mean, it feels like it touches every corner of existence. It's almost
Yeah,
feeling the entire universe.
right. Exactly.
Yeah, here now, saying that. So thank you so much, Barbara.
You're very welcome.
Wow, it's just really, yeah, it's
I
incredible how
want
powerful
to
it is. Huh? Love,
Yes,
isn't it?
and I wanna thank you for being you on this
Yeah,
planet right now. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you. I mean, you are me. I'm you. I just feel the energies everywhere of love. It's one. It's just the most beautiful thing. I know. I wish I could receive that like this separated praise, but I can't because it belongs to everyone. We are all love.
Yes,
We
yes.
just wish that we all knew, right? As a separated wholeness, we all
But
know
let me
that.
just say this for my last words.
Yeah.
Everyone who's listening, be as you see Valeria now, be that. If you have to work on it to actually get inside to feel your love, because everyone has it, but it
Yeah.
might have been beaten out of them. It doesn't matter. But when you get to where Valeria is right now, your life is gonna change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yes, it's feeling your own love, right?
Yes,
You're
yes.
amazing, Barbara. Thank you so much for being
And
the
so are you.
activator of those things. So I really wish you a wonderful, beautiful day today, wonderful moment, really, from now on. And we'll talk
Yes,
soon. We'll be in touch
same
again.
to you, and
Bye
thank
for
you
now.
so much.
Thank you. Bye, Barbara.